Mark Cuban was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on the 31st of July in 1958. He grew up in Mount Lebanon, a suburb of Pittsburgh, in a Jewish working-class family. His grandfather changed the surname from Chabinsky to Cuban after his family emigrated from Russia through Ellis Island. Cuban first ventured into business at age 12. He sold garbage bags to pay for an expensive pair of basketball shoes. He was a sneakerhead too. At age 16, Cuban took advantage of a Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike by running newspapers from Cleveland to Pittsburgh. Instead of attending high school for his senior year, he enrolled as a full-time student at University of Pittsburgh. He is also a Pittsburgh Steelers fan of the NFL. After 1 year at Pitt, Cuban transferred to Indiana University, where he graduated with a bachelor's degree in management. Career. In 1982, he bounced out of Pittsburgh and headed to Dallas. Cuban landed a job selling software and eventually formed his own consulting business, Micro Solutions. Cuban was soon an expert in the field of computers and networking. He also had a knack for building a smart, profitable company, and in 1990, he sold the firm to CompuServe for $6 million. His fortune-making was far from done. Sensing that a new world awaited with the development of the internet, Cuban and a business partner, Indiana alum Todd Wagner, started AudioNet in 1995. Its formation was rooted in a desire to be able to listen to Indiana Hoosier basketball games online. The company, despite its early critics, proved to be a smashing success. Renamed Broadcast.com, the firm went public in 1998 and soon saw its stock reach $200 a share. A year later, Wagner and Cuban sold out to Yahoo for nearly $6 billion. Talk about an exit. Cuban also brought his business acumen to the world of film and television production by purchasing the Landmark Theaters chain and Magnolia Pictures in 2003. He's listed as executive producer for such acclaimed movies as Good Night and Good Luck in 2005 and Aquila and the Bee in 2006. He further boosted his own celebrity with appearances on the popular TV series Entourage and The League. Cuban also guest starred on the big screen version of Entourage and starred as U.S. President Marcus Robbins in the disaster flick Sharknado 3. He also became a contestant on Dancing with the Stars in 2007. And of course, he began his long run as one of the investors on the wildly popular TV show Shark Tank, Dallas Mavericks. In 2000, Cuban introduced himself to the NBA community when he purchased the Dallas Mavericks for $285 million from Ross Perot Jr. For Cuban, this was a dream. The Mavericks, however, were far from a dream franchise. Plagued by poor personnel decisions and mediocre players and coaches, the club experienced more than a decade of non-playoff basketball and were perennial bottom feeders. Cuban used his new role as the owner to immediately change that. With his trademark enthusiasm and doggedness, he revamped the culture of the team and its roster, erecting a new stadium and pampering his players. Cuban showed himself to be the team's biggest booster. Choosing to sit with fans, Cuban egged on opponents and ridiculed refs, and the Mavericks responded positively to the new owner's zeal. The team qualified for the playoffs in 2001 while they set a franchise record for wins with 57. The Dirk Nowitzki-led Mavs made it to the 2006 NBA Finals before losing to the Miami Heat. In 2011, the Mavericks finally won the NBA title by beating LeBron's Heat. Yeah, we learned about Mark Cuban's businesses, so with that, Mark Cuban has a current net worth of... Wait, we'll get to that later. Now let's talk about his lifestyle and how he spends his moolah. Mansions. Back in 1999, soon after Yahoo acquired his company, the Mavericks owner bought himself a sprawling mansion. The French chateau-style home is built out of stone and sits on a massive property spread across 7 acres of land. The main house is designed to wrap around a grand entrance with a fountain at its center and is an enormous 23,000 plus square feet in size. Mark admitted that he bought the house sight unseen and that still to this day he doesn't know exactly how many bedrooms and bathrooms the house has. Talk about having too much space. Besides the main house, there is also a 3-story guest house which looks nothing short of a family home by itself. The property also came with 3 garages attached to the main house, but of course that was too little space for a billionaire to park all his toys, so Mark built 2 more. Cuban reportedly paid $13 million for the property. That's an outstanding amount of money, especially back then. You wouldn't expect a successful entrepreneur like Cuban to own just one house, would you? The Mavericks owner sets his California base in Laguna Beach, a small coastal town in Orange County. It's known for its many art galleries, coves, and beaches, where he purchased a swanky vacation home in a resort-style oceanfront community. Back in 2018, Mark copped one of only 13 private home sites that make up the Montage Residences Resort. With 6 bedrooms, each of them beautifully styled, 6 full bathrooms and 3 half baths, the house has a total of 7,867 square feet of pure awesomeness. Cuban paid $19 million for this cool-out pad. Cars. In addition to buying nice cars for himself, Cuban is a family man. He was spotted driving himself and his family off the set of Shark Tank in a Mercedes-Benz S600 Pullman Guard limousine. The Guard is no joke. Its primary responsibility is to keep celebrities safe, sporting bulletproof tires, all-around armoring, and a steel bulkhead to protect the driver's neck in case of attack. With all this armoring and safety equipment, the Guard weighs 11,200 pounds and takes a year and a half to go from order to delivery. It's incredibly expensive to even order, and very few people can afford to own one in the first place. The car is worth $1.56 million, making it the most expensive Mercedes on the market today, and a far cry from Cuban's humble beginning. One of Cuban's most unique cars is the 1955 Ford Custom Line that he bought in 2013. The backstory behind this car is different from the others, though. To find this ride, he went on reality TV show Fast and Loud and had the Gas Monkey Garage crew find him the perfect car. His requirements? An oh my goodness cruiser. This Ford vehicle certainly fits with a sleek white exterior paint, all green interior, and a vintage fender that are sure to turn heads. The vehicle was initially a museum piece that was restored, but the tires are still the original. Private jet. Cuban has not one but multiple private jets. His first jet was a Gulfstream G550. He said although it was brutally expensive, it's been one of his best investments. The pricey jet saved him hours upon hours of time, which is one asset nobody can own. The $40 million purchase also put Cuban's name in the Guinness World Records for the largest single e-commerce transaction. The jaw-dropping record still stands to this day. Cuban also bought a Boeing 757 so he could transport his basketball team, the Dallas Mavericks, anywhere they wanted to go. Outfitted to accommodate players over 7 feet tall, the spacious aircraft boasts a medical treatment room, weight room, and excellent connectivity. He shelled out a massive $36 million. Talk about traveling in style. Charity. Cuban founded the Fallen Patriot Fund to help families of U.S. military personnel killed or injured during the Iraq War. Cuban also made a $5 million donation to Indiana University for the Mark Cuban Center for Sports Media and Technology, which was built inside Assembly Hall, the school's basketball arena. During the pandemic, Cuban posted an offer on LinkedIn to small business owners who had questions about how to survive the economic downturn being caused by the pandemic. He said people could ask him anything, but that his preference was going to be helping small businesses trying to avoid layoffs and hourly reductions. There were more than 10,000 comments in response to his offer. Later that year, Cuban picked up homeless former NBA player Delonte West from a gas station in Dallas. He paid for a hotel room for West along with his treatment at a drug rehab center. He seems to be doing better and recently tried out for the Big Three basketball league. Family. The love of Mark Cuban's life is Tiffany Stewart. They met at a Dallas gym around the time Mark was selling his second company. They got married in 2002 in Barbados and are still going strong. They have 3 children, daughters Alexis, Alyssa, and son Jake. Despite being wealthy, Mark tries not to spoil his kids. I'm not the dad that comes home with a ton of presents. I'm the dad that says, pick that up, take that, put it in the sink. No, you have to earn that, he said in an interview. I want them to recognize that the only thing special about themselves is what they make for themselves. Net worth. If you've noticed, Mark Cuban is living the life he deserves. Apart from his great business success, he contributes positively to the lives of many people. But without going any further, let's reveal Mark Cuban's net worth. Mark Cuban has a net worth of $4.7 billion, one of the richest people in the world and the most popular NBA owner. That's it for now, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.